Your Honor, I'll address this right now. We have no excuses. We will not.
Mr. Allen.
We will not, and will never mislead this court. She takes full responsibility for her actions. She thanks this court for allowing her to remain out of custody and to continue to test. You have been fair with her. You've been sympathetic with her. She sincerely apologizes for her actions. I hope the court sees that there is something to be said about her appearance here today to take responsibility. And this is her first positive test since her very first test back in November.
Well, except for the fact that I have abnormal creatinine
I know.
throughout all of these tests.
Yes, Your Honor, that is absolutely true.
Okay.
I don't know what the creatine is. I don't know what could cause
But
creatinine, whatever. I don't know what that is. But I do know what cocaine is, and that is
okay. Well, I don't know if you should say that out loud, but go for it.
I do know that she did test for cocaine on her last attempt on the 9th, and the last time she's tested.
I will usually see abnormal creatinine so that you know when somebody is masking a test. Not always the case. So you can place in perspective that I have missed test, abnormal creatinine, and then finally it almost appears wasn't masked enough and the cocaine gets picked up.
Understood, Your Honor. We've been doing this for enough time to know that. I just want to let you know.
You have been doing it, or are you saying me?
You, Your Honor.
Oh,
I know.
so now you're calling me old. Go for it.
Oh,
Keep going. You're doing well.
didn't mean to do that. Your Honor, I just would ask this court any leniency possible. I know you know her situation.
I do, but the problem is that then come here today saying all of that, but that's not what she told community correction.
Well, Your Honor,
She denied use to community correction.
Your Honor, she's stating that she did not deny use. Okay, there's a positive test. That's what we're here.
Hold on a second. You want me to get community corrections over here?
Would that help?
Not you, I don't think. She's denying use to community correction. You have the report in front of you, counsel?
Yes, I do.
Look at the box.
Yes, I
What's
see
it
it.
say?
It says denies use. That was,
She's saying that didn't happen.
yes.
So she admitted use.
Now she's admitting use.
No. When she's talking to community corrections, what did she tell community corrections?
Can I speak?
You can do, hey, it's
So
up
when
to
the lady,
you.
so before Agent Carr called, the lady called and said it was illicit drug. I told her I didn't know what illicit, I said, what is illicit drugs? And she said, I can't tell you the exact what it is. Call your agent. And when I called Agent Carr and she said what it was, I told her, okay. So I never denied it, but the lady that called from the lab called and just said illicit drugs. And I didn't know what illicit drug was. So that's probably what I came in contact, but I mean, you could ask Agent Carr. I definitely didn't deny use. Once I talked to her.
So then how did the cocaine get in your system?
What you mean? How did it get in my system?
Yeah.
It's okay.
When?
When? I like, I don't know, a couple of days before.
Anything else?
And the abnormal creatinine, I mean, that pops up. I have kidney problems. So that I got a report on it. She wanted. So, I mean, that's been in a lot of my tests, and all the stuff still pops up. It's literally in almost every test that I had, but things still popping up from stuff that I'm prescribed and the cocaine.
Anything else? What are we doing with this case?
Well, Your Honor, I spoke with Mr. Ganatra. He was kind enough to honor the offer made the last PCC. I was just trying to ask this court if it had any leniency for this situation.
To do what?
Excuse me?
What were you asking me to do?
Your Honor, I'm asking for any leniency for this bond violation.
Okay, so on March 14th, she was here. I told her no more missed test, right?
Yes, you did.
I also gave her an admonishment about how she was treating the people. I'm trying to think at what date I had to do that. Back in December, she was mistreating the people over at Community Correction.
That'd be the 11th.
In December.
Yeah. December 11th, bond violation.
And then don't make it a few months. And then I have to tell her, don't miss test. And then she tests positive.
Your Honor,
She just seems to do what she wants to do herself.
you wanted me to let you know that she's struggling. And she has a special needs child at home and going through a lot. So
The cocaine helped.
no, obviously not. Look where we're at.
What were you going to do with the case itself? No.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Ganesh.
It was a plea offer, but I've not written up the plea form while she's got.
Yeah, that's not going to happen today. How often are you using? Now, young lady, you can, as your counsel has indicated, I guess I'm old and I've been doing this a minute. So you can go ahead and tell me what you want to tell.
I mean, I don't want to tell you anything but the truth. I take responsibility for it. And
How often are you using?
like you want to like is it an everyday thing?
I don't know that that's a hard question.
I have a problem with it. I stopped it and I started back.
Was that my question?
Well, a couple times.
Okay, look, no. Here's the thing. I don't mind trying to find a way, pretty much everybody in this room that's involved in the system, try to have you work this out and try to assist you to try to get past something. But if you don't want to answer my questions, you want to skate around everything, I don't have time for it. So here's what I'm going to do.
Probably a couple of times a month.
Well, now you want to answer me, right? I'm going to adjourn the probable cause conference. I'm going to adjourn it out 1 week to the 18th, 2024 at 9 a.m. This time, given the violation, you can think about what you really want to say. Defendant's bonds revoked, defendants remain. Tariq Samar.
What begins as a routine courtroom appearance quickly turns into a tense and uncomfortable exchange when a defendant facing a bond violation attempts to explain a positive drug test, and the judge isn't convinced by what he hears. At the start of the hearing, the defendant's attorney immediately addresses the court and takes responsibility for the situation. The attorney explains that there are no excuses for what happened and makes it clear that the defendant accepts full responsibility for her actions. He reminds the judge that the court previously allowed her to remain out of custody while continuing drug testing, and he emphasizes that the defendant is grateful for that opportunity, The attorney also highlights that this is the first positive drug tests she has had since her very first test months earlier. He asks the court to consider the progress she has made and requests any possible leniency, but the moment the explanation begins, the judge focuses on the key issue. The positive drug test for cocaine. The defense briefly mentions irregular results in previous tests related to abnormal creatinine levels, which can sometimes indicate issues with how a test sample is produced or even attempts to mask drug use. However, the judge quickly cuts through the technical discussion. He makes it clear that while he may not fully understand the medical details behind creatinine levels, he certainly understands what a cocaine result means. The courtroom grows noticeably more serious as the judge begins questioning the timeline of events, according to the judge. The bigger problem is not just the positive drug test itself, but the conflicting statements the defendant made to community corrections after the test result was reported. When confronted with the report, the defense tries to clarify that the defendant did not intentionally deny drug use. Instead, the defendant claims that when she was first contacted by someone from the lab, she was only told that illicit drugs had been detected, because she did not know exactly which substance was being referenced. She says she told the caller that she wasn't sure what they meant. Later, when she spoke directly with her community corrections officer and learned that the test had specifically detected cocaine, she claims she admitted the situation, but the judge remains skeptical from the court's perspective. The official report clearly states that the defendant denied drug use when questioned, and that contradiction raises serious concerns about her credibility. The judge then asks a direct and unavoidable question: how did cocaine end up in her system? The defendant struggles to give a clear answer. She attempts to explain that she has ongoing medical issues related to her kidneys, which she says could explain some abnormal lab results in previous tests. But when it comes to the cocaine itself, she eventually admits that she had used it a few days before the test. At this point, the judge reflects on the defendant's history with the court. He reminds everyone in the courtroom that this is not the first time he has had to warn her about her behavior or compliance with court orders. In fact, he recalls earlier hearings where he had to address her conduct toward community corrections staff. More recently, during a previous appearance in March, the judge had given her a very clear warning: there were to be no more missed or problematic drug tests. Despite that warning, the court is now dealing with a confirmed positive result. The judge openly expresses frustration, suggesting that the defendant seems to do whatever she wants despite the court's repeated attempts to help her stay on track. Her attorney then adds more context about her personal situation. The defendant is reportedly dealing with significant stress at home and is raising a special needs child, circumstances that have made her situation even more challenging. But the judge quickly responds with a blunt observation, if anything. He suggests the cocaine clearly hasn't helped her situation. As the conversation continues, the judge shifts his focus toward the future of the case. The prosecution had previously extended a plea offer, but because of the bond violation and the unresolved issues surrounding the drug test, the court is not prepared to move forward with any plea agreement that day. Instead, the judge turns back to the defendant with another critical question. He asks her directly how often she has been using cocaine. At first, she hesitates and tries to avoid giving a clear answer. She admits that she struggles with substance use and says she stopped at one point but eventually started. Again, the judge grows visibly frustrated with the vague responses. He explains that the court system is designed to help people who are willing to be honest and take responsibility for their actions. Judges, attorneys, and corrections officers often try to work with defendants to help them overcome personal struggles and avoid further legal consequences. But that process only works when defendants are truthful. When the defendant continues to avoid answering the question directly, the judge finally pushes her to give a specific answer. After a long pause, she finally admits that her cocaine use happens about a couple of times a month. That admission appears to be the final piece of information the judge needed. rather than issuing an immediate final ruling. The judge decides to delay the next step of the case for 1 week. The hearing will be continued, so the defendant has time to think carefully about what she wants to say moving forward, but the judge also makes one major decision before ending the hearing because of the confirmed bond violation. He revokes her bond. The defendant is ordered into custody while the case moves forward. In just a few minutes. What began as a simple hearing about a failed drug test ends with a serious consequence, a reminder that when defendants violate court orders and fail to be fully honest with the court, the results can change their situation dramatically.